James is having a power bowl, baked potatoes, and some cake and berries. And what I've been doing is cooking the onions and cabbage with the power bowl because there's not really very much food in the power bowl. So
in other words, it's not
very big. The portions are small.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of variety.
There's a fair
of
amount of nutritious food.
Yeah. And anyway.
Now I'm just picking through to try and find fragments of meat in
I
here.
think I got it for the most
Yeah,
part.
I just find little fragments, and I
Okay.
prefer not to eat that stuff. So that's
I
good.
know.
But there,
I know.
There is
We're
some
very grateful
meat in
for it. We're
Exactly.
given these power bowls.
Yeah.
We don't buy them, and it's a good way for James to get a little bit extra vegetables in his diet. So
Yeah.
he picks the meat out, but
Yeah, so
it doesn't go to waste.
The reason why I mentioned
Dogs
it is
love it.
it might look as though I'm being really picky with Pauline's cooking.
well,
Pauline's
it's not
an
my
excellent
cooking,
cook.
it's instant.
Yeah, exactly right.
It's I've been doing a
Sometimes
lot of
it's food
instant stuff
preparation.
lately because
Yeah.
I've been really busy
Yeah, exactly.
doing other things. And so, like, I wrote a bunch of poems today, and I'll read one to you now. But like, I've been doing the poetry in the park stuff, so I've been getting I got the poster handed in today. And I hope it'll turn up on the bulletin board at the library. And
We hope.
and then
well,
there's, I got the schedule on the blog site, so we'll see if that works out. And yeah, anyway, so we're teaching a different poetry form at every one of the hikes, and I'll be helping people identify them. Well, identifying for them the flowers along the way, and then probably flower types will probably turn up in their poems or something.
that'd be awesome. Yeah. So you're able to use colors. Colors kind of stimulate emotions.
Sure.
And I know one a poet, well, self-taught poet. Well, other people style her as a poet, but free verser, and she scorned me mentioning flowers as a way to stimulate emotions and things like that in poetry. Like it's all grist for the mill. Get as many colors as you can.
So this is the worst of the poems that I've written today. Like, some of them were just like information about the trails just written in to fill a form, right? Just for examples for people too. I want as much information that I don't have to point out to people with to help them, and I need examples for them to be able to refer back to. So these will be on the blog site. And this one is called Lineham Post Fire. And we will be teaching the Petrarchen on June 9th at 8 a.m. starting at the the trailhead at Lineham.
Weather permitting, we should say. And that's the Petrarchen sun.
Yeah. So I used to dislike hiking Lineham Trail before the fire a bunch of years ago. But Lineham's mostly still the same, and so I now hike Lineham yearly without fail. It's good to hike in morning, since the sun beats down to bake the slope that trail is on in afternoon. Though Lineham's great at dawn, that trail in later afternoon's less fun. It only takes 3 hours or so to hike. So once you've finished Lineham for the day, provided you began it with the dawn, then you can hike another trail you like. Roe Lakes and Wishbone trails are both okay, though many trees on lower Roe are gone. So that's the worst one I could come up with.
Well, actually, that's pretty good.
It's
I was nodding my head exactly. I think people have got this inflated view of poetry because once free verse hit, so-called free verse, people go, how can we make it like it's poetry? Oh, we'll exaggerate metaphor and simile and stuff like that. We'll just pump it full of metaphor and symmetry, or simile, and not symmetry, definitely not symmetry. And the stuff ends up being hard to decipher, hard to swallow sometimes. Sometimes it's just, well, most of the time it's ends up being a massive mixed metaphor, if you'll excuse the extended alliteration. So Margaret Atwood's particularly bad for that massive mixed metaphor.
Well, there is like pretty much zero art with this Lineham Post-Fire.
Well, I mean that
Informative.
sort of stuff. Well, like there'd be artfulness in it. I mean, it sounded well constructed, things like that. I wasn't grimacing at the rhymes or whatever. It just read naturally.
Yes.
And that's what poetry really should be. It should be lyric poetry that has some recognizable beat. It doesn't have to be da 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 da. And some sort of pattern of, possibly, not necessary, of sounds like alliteration, rhyme, consonants, assonance, so on and so forth. The rest of the stuff is all window dressing, and what I mean by that is metaphor and simile, all the rhetorical techniques. That's all window
No,
dressing.
upper row is pretty much the same too. That's the same. But lower row, because you got to go past the point of the burn,
Yeah, oh yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
lower
Both
row's
trails,
just not very
yeah,
far.
when you get past that, there's some nice greenery, and you appreciate it more
You
now
do.
after
Yeah,
going
after
through
the fire.
relatively bare
Exactly.
areas.
As long as you go through that in the early morning. If you go
well,
through
the
that,
bare area, or
yeah,
the
well,
southern
you would
slope.
actually appreciate the trees more if you went through there in the hot afternoon, because
Yeah,
you'd
but the
feel
big
it.
trouble
You wouldn't
is
want to go back in the hot afternoon.
You got to work coming
Yeah.
down that sun exposure, coming down. You have to work. It's steep enough so that it's not like to prevent freewheeling, as it were.
Yeah. Well, I used to run a lot of trails. I can't do it anymore.
Oh, it used
It
to worry
hurts
me.
my back
Yeah.
too much, my knees too much. I just
Yeah.
can't do it. So, but I used to love it. And it worried me a little bit too. Like on the switchbacks, I'd feel like I'm flying, and then I'd think, well, I
Yeah, you
come
might
pretty
end up really
close
flying.
to, I might fly over the edge, right?
Yeah. Where
But-
it really scared me the most was the upper Roll Lake Trail.
Yes.
There's switchbacks there. It's fairly steep too.
It really is. A lot of fun when you're running, if you can do it. But I can't anymore. Now I just have to go really slowly.
Yeah, the best thing to do on walks, I think, is stay within certain fairly constrained or constricted limits, and just make sure that you survive to enjoy as many walks as possible in your life.
So you were going to talk about
I still have got to do the.
Passover and stuff.
Yeah, I was still going to do
Something.
I've still got to do the calculations. So I'll have to bother you later on today. Remember that stuff that we took down off the internet?
Oh, it's in my bag.
So I've got to copy that down. I've got the
You
requisite
can
material.
have it. You can have the copy. I wrote it all. Anyway, you have nothing to talk about then.
I don't know. I've got stuff to talk about. I saw that idiot management person at the Cancer Institute that was giving me the gears 2 months ago.
Yeah.
It was, she actually was wearing a mask. She wasn't.
Oh,
masked.
wow.
Yeah.
Well, maybe
she's
she's
in
not
management.
so bad as you thought.
Well, she wasn't 2 months ago. As a management person, be setting an example all the way through. But yeah, she flashed her eyeballs at me as if in greeting, and I just turned away. No, I'm not putting
She's
up
trying to be nice to you.
Being nice is a question
And
of
she's
being
wearing a mask now.
Being nice is a question of being nice. pretty well all the time. Can't be nice. You should apologize. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess so. Oh, sorry about that. My long hairs end up in everything.
I don't
Yeah,
mind
well,
it.
it's either mine or Opie's. Opie's hairs end up in everything.
Well, yeah, he's just quite short.
I don't know how.
But yeah, he sheds like crazy because
Yeah.
he doesn't have much hair.
No,
At any rate, no, I like your hair long, so
he's Fuzzy Wuzzy. That's what his name should have been.
it's my preference that your hair is all over the place.
Okay. Well, you have 20 minutes. Do you want to talk or no?
Actually, I just want to eat because I didn't have
Okay,
much for
sure.
breakfast this morning.